Hello beautifuls, my name's Epic Treasure, welcome to the channel. So this video today is the ultimate mining base. There's a lot of secrets in this one, I think you're going to love it. And the location of this one is over here at 108 minus 325. And this build can obviously go anywhere. If you want a place where there's hexalite, etc., that would be glorious. Or around chromite, etc. If you want to put it up on Faybreak, it's beautiful. But the reason that it's in this section, I'm building a guild kind of community, I guess, mega base that doesn't look like a factory, doesn't look sort of cold and impersonal. So here we have the beautiful farming castle in here. There's a video on my channel for that too, and that's got the floating beehive and the whole little merchant shop and everything there. And then over here is the whole ultimate breeding base. So what's going to happen over here, it's going to have a walkway through the red forest, and that's going to be a medieval town. So stay tuned for that one. Then down here, it has a beautiful bridge that goes to this gorgeous resort kind of, well, to-be resort place. And all this area can be built on, like, you can put foundations and build it under the water, which is nuts. So that's all just under construction, so ignore that. But what a beautiful build indeed. So if you like what you see, I would love if you could like and comment. You can make recommendations. And this build here started off as a sort of pimp my base design. So Bard made the bare bones of the base, and then I went nuts decorating it. So this one is beautiful, and thank you to Bard for the incredible help with this one too. So let us have a tour, and I'm going to bring up the whole laundry list of things that we need. So in this base, it is actually 2 stories deep. The reason I wanted that to happen is because I wanted to hide all the beds. I didn't want the beds taking up space in the base, and I didn't want to look at them because it just can be quite visually triggering sometimes. So I wanted to sort of have the same theme as the castle and have this mix between the stone and also the glass. So it's that sort of same. And the reason it's just purely mining is to prepare for the new content. And it's going to be the same way as the game evolves over time, and the mining features are just going to change to different types of mining pits. So eventually one day they'll have, I assume, like a hexalite mine. I don't believe they're going to have it anytime soon. We'll see. But you get the idea, you know, you can just chop and change. But how this is constructed is really beautiful. This has a boardwalk section all the way to the back. But the whole mining section is within the perimeter, which I know people find that very important for their builds. I've hidden an expedition station behind it, so that can fit there nice and safe. The main focus on this one is the iron ore. So I'm going to bring up the list in a second for the checklist and the pals that I think are the best. And you can chop and change these, obviously. But there are 5 tier 2 iron ore sites here. So I think in the new DLC, we're going to need a lot of that because it's the sort of main feature of the creation of any of the production items, you know. So when we go down to this furnace here, we can see that this uses ore. The refined ingot uses ore, the palmetal ingot uses ore, the plasteel uses ore, and also the hexalite bars also use ore. So not only that, but we use ore to put it in the money-making machine to create currency to buy directly off the vendors, and that's a whole different kind of whole different story with that when it comes to purchasing materials such as electric organs or flame organs straight from the vendor. So iron ore, in my opinion, is one of the best things to be stockpiling in the game. The other things that are on the list are 2 quartz mines, the pure quartz mines. There's also 2 coal mines, and there's also 2 logging sites, and there is a stone one too. And I mean, obviously, you probably got tons and tons and tons of wood and stone already, but I've got them there just so they're perpetually making them. There's also the little mine cart there, and there's also the little fountain there to increase the watering. And then there's 2 gigantic furnaces there. Got the crusher there. Down here is the monitoring stand. There's also the medicine shelf over there. And that is how the top looks. So I'm going to fly over just so you can get a snap sort of shot of it and all of the dimensions. And you might like to pause it. And I wanted this sort of consistency between the bases, joining them with this red carpet all along the way. So each of the bases will be joined with that red carpet. So as I said before, bringing up the shopping list, I'll do that now. There we go. So 2 gigantic furnaces. If you're early on, Yormantide Ignis is a handy one to have if you want to put them out. But as you start breeding, you'll find that, and also upgrading your pals, and increasing their, kindling, etc., you'll start to want to change these. So we've got these passives for, I think, anything at a base. So the remarkable craftsmanship passive trait gives 75% work speed, increased work speed. Then we've got the artisan one, which gives you 50% work speed. Then you have work slave, which gives you 30% work speed. And then serious gives you 20% work speed. There's also the lucky trait, which gives you 15% work speed, but we'll ignore that one. I mean, it's all right if that's all you've got, but and also, if you want these guys to be working at night time, then you can have the vampiric passive or the nocturnal passive. Unless you pick Astagons, for example, doing the mining, who already are nocturnal. So you can obviously put in one of the other passives. So you could go, if you had Astagon, you could go remarkable craftsman, artisan, work slave, and serious, right? If you want everybody working at the night time, you can drop serious off and replace it with one of the nocturnal traits. So with Anubises, I like them all working at night time, so I'll put vampiric or nocturnal on those particular ones. The important part with this one too is that I would not use the monitoring stand for absolutely everyone. There's a lot of pals that are multi-faceted. So let's just go up to the pal thing here. Let me just get rid of that screen for a second, and I'll bring it back up in a minute. Come here, Mr. Mouse. Where are you? Here it is. So here, I've only got one Yormantide Ignis assigned to the gigantic furnace, right? Because the other ones, I'll call them runners, basically, they do transporting and they'll do kindling, or they'll do logging and they'll do transporting, or they'll do watering and they'll do transporting. So whenever you go over to your furnace, they'll just come over and do the work. But binding them to the furnace stops them from being able to do, the transporting job or whatever else they're doing, a little bit more fluidly. So all the Anubises, however, they are all bound to the mines. These ones are all nocturnal also, except for maybe one. And the one that I would, have on the side would be one that has like runner, that, one that's quick and does the transporting. But as you can see, I've just got Anubises absolutely everywhere. Then for the logging site, let's just go to the PAL box here. Whoopsie. Here's the team that I've got. All right. So we can see those passives there. right? So that Anubis is only 1 star. So you want to be working on a breeding base to level up and use the essence conductor machine to power these lower level Anubises up. So we've got, you know, this 2-star one. So we'll just keep, you know, working on building those up to having all the stars. Then we'll go down here. So Bushy Knocked, when you level that up to max, Bushy Knocked will have 5 kindling and 5 handiwork and 5 logging and 5 transport, and it's a nocturnal pal. But if you're not into breeding or anything like that, having you know, Yomatide Ignis is great just for kindling. Pretty useless for other things. Now, Phalaris is pretty good because Phalaris does kindling and it does transporting too. So if you want a runner, so when I bring up this Excel spreadsheet again, I would try and get a Phalaris to do your, be that sort of runner. So Phalaris will go over to the furnace when it needs to cook for you, and it'll also transport all of the ore too. So let me just bring up my nerd sheet again for you, and I'm going to scroll down it. Get over here. Okay, so down here, so I've got here non-bind. So we don't want to bind those. We don't want to sign those through the monitoring stand. So I've got a Phalaris, a Bushy Knocked, a Catress Ignis, and a Celeray. Now, a Celeray for you, if it's not leveled up, might be just the most terrible idea ever for watering, you know. But once you level it up, then indeed it is worth quite wonderful things, because it also does transporting too. So just keep those sort of things in the back of your mind, and as you sort of move along, you might have better pals to replace them with. But anyway, so they're the non-binded runners, basically. So they're going to perpetually transport all the ore, but they also do those other things on the side that we don't want to tie them to 24/7. The other items that I've got here, and I'll take you downstairs in a moment, there's 3 beds in this place underneath 4 humans. There's an expedition station. You saw that. You saw the medicine shelf, the fountain, the brazier thing, which helps with the kindling, the mining cart, the monitoring stand, the food box, the 50 pal beds, statue of power. It's just for looks. I'll take you around there in a second. The carpets, the benches, the barrels just there for fun. Street lamps. The other lamps are really important. I'll show you why in a minute. And then there's a couple of the Japanese doors. So let me just bring this up so you can freeze this, pause this if you need a shopping list. Those are the passives I think are the best. It's horses for courses. If you want them to be working day and night, which I do, then I'd be going for that. I think a really interesting mining character would be the Blazement Ryu, which is... Where's our boy? Here he is, the Blazement Ryu. So we can see that Blazement does both mining and kindling. So if we can get his passives to those remarkable craftsmanship and the other ones that you see on the screen, let me just bring that screen up for a second. If we can get him to have the same as those passives for the current Anubises, that would be amazing, because he's a big, lovely boy, right? Same with Astagons, you know, they're very big boys. But I love the Blazements. They're very useful with the fire, the kindling, and there's going to be a whole lot of furnace action happening. So let's go on a little tour on foot. We'll just go up in here first so you can get a shot of this. I want a little boardwalk deck that goes down to the beach. And this is a really great base. If you can find, for example, let me try and find a really good spot for this. I haven't tried to build it there though. Faybreak. Was it up here or was it down here? I think might be one of these tips here. Both of those have the Night Star sand for starters. but there's a place that's got 2 hexalite ores, and there's one next to it, right next to it, that has hexalite and an oil, crude oil spot. It would be very interesting to put this base there so you can get the best of both worlds. You know, you could even have, easily build over the top of the hexalite and have it under the whole structure of this. And then you've got everything besides the chromite. So that would be my hot tip. But obviously, this specific location is for self-serving purposes. So this is what it starts to look like at nighttime. When I started building this, in my mind, it was just going to be just stone. The whole thing was just going to be stone. And then I looked at it and I thought, no, I want it to sort of be cohesive with the castle, right? You know, this glass and stone. And then it came to my mind the depth of the build, that I knew that I could light it from underneath. So when we fly around it or walk on it, it in the proximity lighting lights everything up. And I always like how the white lights lights up this glass in this game. So down here is the underground area. There's just a sulfur mine over there. You could put so much stuff here. You could decorate it to your heart's content. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space. And you can see that's where I put one of the lamps over there and just strategically placed, you know, the lights in spots that would, you know, shine through the glass. Over here are those alpha beta wave machines that increase, you know, the chill factor and also the productivity, etc. And then around here, there's some beds hiding under there. There's another lamp there, and there's beds on the other side. So we've got hidden beds everywhere. Now this is the human quarters, which will go up here. Got this beautiful stone roof design, which was just inadvertently there because of the mining above. And each of these has just a bedroom, because I tried to really keep the guild idea in my mind at the same time, because originally I just slapped a bed there. So that's that there. These pillars have to be there because the center of this base just needed that structure. It needed to have it. But wherever you build it, you might not, perhaps. I'm not sure. It just really depends on, you know, your location. So even the castle from here looks so beautiful. You can see all the Japanese lanterns, and that's something that I would be utilizing too. And also fire, the little cooking fire things will look nice. And scattering those around the place would be a really nice idea, because anything that's powered is just proximity. And, you know, when you're far away, everything just sort of turns off and it goes dark, unless you're using, just like these Japanese lanterns, which stay lit. But the fire is far more pronounced indeed. So you could light all behind this place, etc. But it looks beautiful when you fly over it. So also it's got 2 of these hot springs there too, to just chill them out. But that's basically how it is. So when it comes to the specific pals at this base, like I said, you'll know which pals are best for where you're at. And if you're a sort of end game when you've been breeding, you know very well what breeding pals are the best. And again, you might want them working through the night like I do. I get them slapping like maniacs. But it's really beautiful. You see the lovely waves in the beach at night time, and then there's the statue at the front. There's a cauldron behind that, just to have this sort of you know, that green sort of creepy smoke going behind him. But it's a really lovely base, I think. You know, all this should have Night Star Sen, I think, but I guess they didn't want to do that. So that is the beautiful mining base. It truly is. It's just not this sort of cold-hearted structure and sort of see you later. The place that is the best for mining hexalite. I'm going to take you there very quickly. Has got a triple hexalite spot, which is down here. There's a mega base down here. There's a tutorial on my channel for that one. It will take you a very long time to make it, so I probably wouldn't. I don't envy you if you're going to be doing that one. Let us go quickly sleep. But look at this. It's got a beautiful bar. It's got the double oven there. It's such a lovely build in such a disgusting place to build. If you've tried to build here, you know how traumatizing it is because the terrain is just an utter nightmare to build on. But we figured that out. Don't you worry about that. So here is where your triple hexalite is. So they'll just keep mining and mining and mining that. Let me just fly above this one. So it is a bit excessive and extreme. I wouldn't make it now unless you really, just want to do it. I would just have a basic base here if you don't already. But I would go nuts just mining this hexalite over and over again. I know they're starving. Mining the hexalite over and over and over again and keep them on it all the time. Because we don't know what's going to happen with the new content. But anyway, that's that spot there. I would also recommend getting Night Star Sand just because I got a feeling you're going to need it. I'm making a shopping list for all the whatever DLC at the time comes out, how to prepare, because it's usually right. And this is my beloved home base. I love this one the most. And it's just an all-in-one base. It's a little bit changed at the moment. There's a tutorial on the channel for this one too. This is base 7.0. It'll by the time you watch this, it could be changed again. But right now, it's just running like a well-oiled machine where it's got crazy money-making facilities. It's got wild ore production there. It's got its own little vendor shops there. It's the ultimate cake making base. Yeah, so that has a whole tutorial, but please stay tuned for that because I promise you it'll change when the new content comes out. So if you are preparing for the new content, this is the base I would be doing. Let's have a little flyover. It's got the expedition station there. Let's just jump up on our boy. I've got stockpile. This is like a doomsday prepper on the outside base, underground. And it's just it's such a well-oiled machine. So check out the channel for that. It's got the beehive there. The reason the beehive is there is because there's no vendor at this time that sells honey. So you're going to have to make the honey. And this is a really beautiful idea. Now, again, it'll probably change, but we'll see. So anyway, that's my quick tour. There's plenty more bases on the channel, but you'll love it. But I hope you enjoyed this one. I love and leave you. Have an amazing day or night. And don't forget to join the Discord channel. There's a great Palworld community there. And also, whenever Pocket Pair release any important announcements, it's spat out immediately to the announcement channel on the Discord. So you'll never have to sort of wait for news to happen at all. So I'll see you later. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you to the following people that are members who made this content possible, and the base and the future base will be open for members to come and visit, whether it be on PC or whether it be on Xbox. We'll see what happens, but at the moment this is just on Xbox. It is cross platform, etc., but yes, see what happens with that. Until next time, have an amazing day or night, and thank you so much again for your support.